The whisper in the walls, it started with a sound I couldn't explain. A faint, rhythmic tapping from inside the walls of my new apartment, like someone was trapped in there, begging to be let out. I'd just moved to a small coastal town in Maine, chasing a fresh start after a brutal breakup, and this place was supposed to be my sanctuary. But by the third night, I was lying awake, heart pounding, wondering if I'd made a terrible mistake. I'm Emma, 29, and I posted this on our True Scary Stories because I need to know if I'm losing my mind or if something's actually wrong with this place. Let me walk you through it. The apartment was a steal, $600 a month for a one-bedroom in a charming old Victorian house converted into units. The landlord, Mr. Hargrove, was a wiry old man with eyes like fogged glass who mumbled about keeping the place quiet and handed me the keys without much fanfare. The first day, I was too busy unpacking to notice anything weird. The place had character. Creaky hardwood floors, a bay window overlooking the misty harbor, and a faint smell of salt and mildew that I chalked up to the ocean nearby. But that night, as I lay on my air mattress, my furniture was still in transit. I heard it. Tap, 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 slow, deliberate, coming from the wall behind my bed. I froze, straining to listen. It wasn't pipes, too rhythmic, too intentional. I knocked on the wall, half expecting a neighbor to knock back. Nothing. Just silence, thick and heavy. I told myself it was the house settling, but sleep didn't come easy. The next morning, I met my downstairs neighbor, Clara, a retired schoolteacher with a warm smile and a habit of talking like she was narrating a novel. "Oh, you're in 2B, she said, handing me a plate of homemade blueberry scones. "That apartment's got stories. Used to belong to a fisherman's widow, Mary Kane. Sad tale, that one." "Sad how?" I asked, nibbling a scone. Clara leaned in, her voice dropping. "Mary's husband went out to sea in '92 and never came back. They say she'd sit by that bay window, waiting year after year. Died in that apartment alone. Some folks swear they hear things up there, whispers, tapping like she's still waiting." I laughed it off, but her words stuck with me. That night, the tapping returned, louder, faster. Tap, tap, tap. Pause, tap, tap, tap. I grabbed my phone, recorded it, and played it back. The sound was real, not my imagination. I posted the clip on a local Facebook group, asking if anyone knew about weird noises in old houses. Most replies were jokes about ghosts, but one user, Main Mysteries, DM'd me. "Check the history of your building. 2B has a reputation, be careful." I couldn't shake the unease, so I started digging. The town library had a dusty archive of newspapers, and I spent my Saturday flipping through microfilm. I found an article from 1993 about Mary Kane. She'd been found dead in my apartment, cause unknown, though the coroner noted unusual bruising on her wrists. No mention of foul play, just a vague note about her obsession with the sea. Another article from '94 mentioned the house being sold after tenant complaints about strange noises. My stomach twisted. What had I moved into? That night, the tapping wasn't just tapping anymore. It was accompanied by a low, guttural sound, like a whisper, but too faint to make out words. I called Clara up for coffee, desperate for company. "You hear anything weird in your place?" I asked, trying to sound casual. She frowned, stirring her mug. "Not really. But sometimes I feel like someone's watching me from your floor. You ever get that?" I nodded, my throat dry. "Clara, what do you know about Mary Kane? Really?" She hesitated, then sighed. "Folks said she went mad after her husband vanished. Started claiming she heard him in the walls, calling her. Neighbors heard her talking to herself, banging on the walls like she was answering something. When they found her, she was curled up by that bay window like she'd been waiting for him." I didn't sleep that night. The whispers grew clearer, forming fragments of words. "Emma, come." I told myself it was the wind, the pipes, anything but what it sounded like. But at 3 a.m., I couldn't take it. I grabbed a flashlight and a screwdriver, determined to find the source. The tapping seemed loudest behind my bedroom wall, so I pried off a loose baseboard. Behind it was a small, rusted metal panel, barely noticeable. My hands shook as I unscrewed it, revealing a narrow crawl space. The air inside smelled like damp earth and something sour. I crawled in, my flashlight beam catching cobwebs and splintered wood. About 10 feet in, I found it. A small, locked tin box, engraved with the initials MK. My heart pounded as I pried it open. Inside were yellowed letters, a locket with a faded photo of a man in a fisherman's cap, and a journal. The last entry, dated October 1992, read, "He's here, in the walls. He says he's sorry, but I have to join him. I can't leave him alone." I scrambled out, slamming the panel shut. The tapping stopped, but the whispering didn't. It was louder now, insistent. Emma, stay! I called Hargrove the next morning, demanding answers. He sounded annoyed. Old houses creak. You're imagining things, don't go poking around, kid. But I couldn't let it go. I tracked down Main Mysteries, who turned out to be a local historian named Tom. We met at a diner and he slid a folder across the table. Your building's got a dark past, he said. Before Mary, there was a tenant in 2B in the 70s, a guy named Daniel Holt, disappeared without a trace. Cops found scratches inside the walls like he'd been trapped. They never figured it out. Scratches? I whispered, my blood running cold. Tom nodded. And before that, in the 50s, a woman vanished from 2B. Every few decades, someone in that apartment goes missing or dies. Always the same story. Noises, whispers, then nothing. I went home, packed a bag, and checked into a motel. But I couldn't stay away. Something about that journal, those letters, pulled me back. I returned the next day, determined to end this. I brought a sledgehammer, ignoring Hargrove's warnings. I smashed through the bedroom wall, revealing a larger section of the crawl space. It wasn't just a crawl space. It was a hidden room, maybe 10 by 10, with walls covered in scratches, names, and dates. Mary's, Daniel's, others going back decades. In the center was a pile of bones, human, arranged like an offering. The locket from the tin box lay on top. I stumbled back, gagging, as the whispering filled the room, not from the walls, but from behind me. I turned, and for a split second I saw him. A man in a fisherman's cap, eyes hollow, mouth moving without sound. Then he was gone. The air grew heavy, like a storm was brewing inside the apartment. I ran, leaving everything behind. I'm at Clara's now, typing this. Hargrove's not answering my calls, and the police say they'll look into it, but they think I'm hysterical. I checked the town records today. Hargrove's owned that house since the 40s. He'd have been a kid then, but how? I keep hearing the whispers in my head, even here. Emma, come back! I don't know what's in that apartment, but it's not just Mary or her husband. It's something older, hungrier. I'm posting this because I'm scared I'll go back. I don't want to be another name on that wall. If you're in Maine, stay away from 47 Harbor Lane, apartment 2B, and if you hear tapping in your walls, run. Epilogue for narration, I never went back. The police sealed off the apartment after finding the bones, but they claimed it was an old burial site and refused to investigate further. Hargrove disappeared and the house is up for sale again. Last week, Clara texted me a photo from her window, a light flickering in 2B's bay window. Nobody's lived there since I left. I'm moving across the country, but I still hear the whispers some nights. I don't think it's done with me.